Morning, everyone. Good morning. You can hear my voice. Good morning. I want
Good morning,
to
sir.
thank you very
Hi,
much.
how are you?
Good morning. Thank you very much. I want to welcome everybody, everyone officially to another one. Yeah, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Okay, thank you very much. That's Mr. James as well. Thank you for joining us. Apologies. Okay. So I apologize for that brief interruption. So once again, let me appreciate everyone for joining in today's class. It's the fourth day into this training, the 3 week project management crash course, and so far we have been able to um, look at a couple of things. We've studied one knowledge area successfully, and we are on the second knowledge area, which is on scope project scope management. So we started that yesterday, and hopefully we are going to be concluding everything on project scope management today. So I want to congratulate everyone who has been with us since the beginning of this training. And trust me, we still have a whole lot to cover, a whole lot to do. And I want to say welcome and appreciate everyone for joining in this particular training. So do we have anyone who has not been with us through since the inception of the class? Is there anyone who today is the first time of joining the class? Do you have anyone? Okay, so I'm sure. Okay, I can't see anyone. Okay, so that's been said. Let me reintroduce myself for the benefit of those who are seeing my face for the first time. So my name is Kehinde Samson Ogunmuyiwa, an administrative officer under CUC Concept Training Company Limited, and I'm going to be your moderator for today's class. So yesterday we were able to start with project scope management, and quite a lot was explained yesterday. We were able to talk on the on the two process groups whereby the project scope management processes are grouped under. So which is there is no initiating, which is I think both planning and monitoring and control, and quite a whole lot was talked on that yesterday. So today we are going to continue. By God's grace, we are going to be wrapping up everything on project scope management, and today equally we'll be diving straight into project schedule management. So you don't want to miss out on any aspect of today's class, because project schedule management is equally one very, very important aspect of our project management. And I always tell people, as one of the baselines of our projects, it is very important. You have scope management, you have schedule management, and you have scope management. So these three baselines are very, very important and vital to every project manager. So you don't want to miss all that is going to be taught into this class. So those who are streaming, who are with us on our live YouTube stream, I want to say welcome and appreciate you all for joining. So at the end of the class, we are going to be giving room for questions. So please ask your questions at the end of class. Take them down, and at the end, we'll give opportunity for you to ask. And trust me, we are going to be doing a couple of calculations today. So you want to get your pen and books ready so you'll be able to join in the fun while the class is ongoing. So once again, I say welcome, and we are going to be kickstarting this class shortly. I'll be bringing up my screen. Trainer is here with us already, so trust me, whatever he's teaching today, he is equally here to give response to it all. And please, for many who have not taken the assessment, the previous assessment we have released on integration management, please do, because at the end of today's class, we'll be dropping the assessment for project scope management. So you want to, so that your assessment won't be modeled up. So try as much as possible to do them so they don't keep piling up. So at the end of today's class, the assessment for scope management will be dropped. And equally, some other informations that are important will equally be passed on, perhaps maybe on the groups that we all belong. So let's take note of that. I'll be sharing my screen, so please, if you can see my screen, just give me a thumbs up. If you can see my screen, give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. That's great. Thank you very much. So without further ado, the next voice you'll be hearing will be that of our resource person, the person of Mr. James Fanny. Those who have been in his class, you can attest to the fact that indeed, yes, he's good at what he does. So trust me, you're in the right hand. So the next voice you'll be hearing shall be that of Mr. James. So for the next 1 hour 55 minutes or 1 hour 50 minutes perhaps, he's going to be engaging you all in today's class.
So you can see my screen. Just give a thumbs up, or you can just put a comment. So yesterday we had a whole lot of discussion. I took us from the very basic foundation of project management. We ran through, defining what project is, some definition of terms, talking about what project management is all about, talking about, processes, the process groups, the knowledge areas, and then we ran through from project integration management down to project scope management. So yesterday we discussed a whole lot about project scope management, and we discussed the 6 processes involved in scope management. We also try to look at the process that these 6 processes actually belong to. We say they belong to planning and monitoring and executing. So at monitoring and controlling. So I express the fact that in project scope management, there is nothing like executing. In project scope management, there is really nothing like closing. In project scope management, there is nothing like initiating. So the only 2 process groups that you have under project scope management is planning, and the second one is monitoring and controlling. So we discuss 4 of these processes yesterday. Alongside other things, I explained, some preparations or some things that you need to note about your project so that you can actually get the processes of this scope management very well. So I explained defining your project needs, understanding the project objectives, define the project. So these are the 3 things that you really want to bother with under scope management, and then we simplify the 6 processes. The first one, plan scope management. This is where I explain that you need to have an overview of how you want to manage your scope, or how the scope of your project will be managed. This is the process under which you can decide, okay, am I going to use some tools, to manage the scope? What are the things I will need, so that how you have answer the question like how will I go about collecting the requirements, maybe from your stakeholders, so that you can know their expectations on the project? How will I, what will I do to define my scope, that is the statement, the scope statement? What are the things that I will really need in my scope statement? Your milestones, your deliverables, your scope statements, brief statements, and the likes. So under plan scope management, you get to think about how will I go about my WBS? Am I using a tool? I explained to us yesterday that there are great project management tools that you can actually use to also prepare your WBS. These are the 4 that we're able to treat on the day 1. And today, I promise that we'll go over the remaining 2 processes. So the 5th one is validate scope. Okay. When you are done, preparing the scope of your project, you have collected the requirement from the stakeholders, you have prepared the scope statements. So the next thing is that you really want to know if the customer or the sponsor of the project is okay with it. So you cannot just assume you have gotten the work done, you are done with all the things that you need to do about the scope. Now it's time for you to present it, what you have documented, you present it to the project owner so that you can get it validated. The scope and the sponsor of the project or even the stakeholders, they could either accept everything that you have done, they can say it's okay, or they request for some changes in the project scope statements. So if they request for changes, that's what we call change request in project management. So they give you these changes, and then you go back, you make all the necessary corrections, and you retender it for approval or validation. Under the validate scope process is the process you go through by which you seek for the customer acceptance on what you have done on the project scope. So it is the process that makes you to get a formal acceptance of what you have done on the project scope. So you must note this very well. I've been saying this, most especially while explaining agile methods of methodology of project management, iterative methods, and all that. They are wonderful. They are good methodology for project management when it comes to some projects that are of high risk. Some projects that do not have 100% clarity from the beginning. So they evolve. As you carry out the project, you begin to gather more information about the project. So when you have projects like that, you have to use iterative so that you do it little by little. I use the term small for us yesterday. That you do it little by little. You can just, if it's a building you want to erect, you can just look at the designing. When you are under the designing, you will initiate the design, you will plan it, you will execute it by doing the design, and then you bring it in for monitoring and controlling. That you present it to the customer so that they will look at, is the design okay, fine, okay, make these changes, make that changes, and when it's done, the person actually signs that it's done, and that is closing. Then you pick another deliverable, or you pick another deliverable. If that one is laying the foundation now, you initiate it. Initiating means what are the plans or the things what are the things you have to put in place before you say you want to actually begin the foundation, and then you make plans. The planning can be that you need to procure some things and all that, the workers, and then get all of them ready, and then you go all out to execute it, and then after execution you move to the next process group, which is monitoring and controlling. You have to check what you have done. The customer will come and inspect it. If there are some corrections, you will note it and do the corrections. If there are none, it will be formally approved, and then you close. That phase is already closed again, and then you go over another one. So that is iterative. So validation, you get to validate what you have done, and in this case, we are talking about scope now. Now that you are done with drawing the scope of the project, so you need to seek formal acceptance, which is validation. So the next process, which is the last but not the least, is how you are going to control your scope. This is very important. You know, as a project manager, one of the greatest issues you can face is a project, you know, struggling to go out of scope. Maybe due to pressure from the stakeholders or due to pressure from the customer. You know, when a project is going out of scope. Yes, I noted it yesterday, especially when I was talking about iterative. There are times that a scope might actually have to work. There may be some changes introduced into scope as the work go on. And I gave you some examples. So, but whatever changes you want to bring into the scope must not really digress from the purpose of the project. If the project is for you to erect a structure, you know, and it is a school, they have told you that what this structure you want to erect is a school, and you have started, and they now say that you should convert the structure to, oh, before we did not put it in the design that there should be a security post. Okay, as a school, there will be students and vulnerability of the students due to security matter. There should be a security post, and the only thing that will take you is that you have to adjust your schedule, and then you adjust the cost because it will be more money and also more time. So that can actually be what you will adjust because the change request to that particular scope is still not out of place. Okay, so there may be some scope, some changes that will be introduced into scope, but you have to control it. A project manager must actually be in charge. You should be able to control the scope and ensure that, you know, it does not go out of hand. You have to, you know, the process controls scope, scope process allow you to examine all the, you know, changes that are being made as a request to the scope. You have to examine all those additional requirements, you know, from the customer, and you know, you try as much as possible to be proactive about it. That it does not actually have a lingering, you know, effect or negative effect on the project scope. You try as much as possible. That's when you try to adjust the baseline of your project. If you are creating more job for me, you should be able to give me more time, and you should be able to give me more money. So that is what control scope is talking about. So you don't just do the boy is good as a project manager, or you are just showing a falsified, you know, loyalty to a particular stakeholder of the project. You know, it happens a lot. There will be a particular stakeholder, maybe because you like the person so much, or you reference the person so much, or you are looking for one other favor here and there. The person is pushing work to you. It happens in company. The mechanical manager may come through the back door to meet the project manager and say, okay, that project you are doing, I want you to favor my department more. Can you please help us to implement this? And the kind of equipment is telling you to implement with it was not actually in the basic cost before. So that will actually negatively affect some other things in the project if you should accept that kind of change request. So what do you have to do? You have to be very much open by saying, okay, fine, we can actually do this since it's actually in line with the scope, but we will need more money. And if the project is supposed to take about 30 days, okay, maybe now it will take us 35 days. So this process, control scope, is where you take charge of that, and then you adjust that. So I hope I have people online with me. Yes, if you are with me, just give me thumbs up. Just thumbs up. It's okay. Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay. So I have a whole lot of people that can hear me clearly, and that's fantastic. So let's look at some tips that can help you as a project manager when it comes to project scope management. They are just some tips anyway. They are just tips out of what I summarize this out of, you know, all the processes I've mentioned, just for you to say, okay, You must make sure that your scope management documentation, okay, you must focus when you are doing your scope management documentation, you must let your focus be in such a way that you clarify all the ambiguity in it. This is very important, and that's what your WBS actually does. You need to break down all the tasks. We practiced that yesterday. Try as much as possible to break down the task. You know, in science, we say an atom is the smallest particle of an element, and which existing alone can still, you know, represent the element in terms of chemical property. So what we expect in project management is that your task should be broken down into an atom, if there's anything like that. So you have to atomically break down all your tasks. So when it becomes an atom, it becomes the smallest part of the job that you can carry out. That will allow you to be able to know the actual time or the correct estimated time it will take you to perform that task. And it will help you to know the kind of resources that should be attached to doing that particular task. You will not be attaching, you know, a job of 5 people to 2 people. You will not be attaching a job that 2 people can do, you know, to 5 people. So you don't get to waste resources. You will not expect a job that will take 20 days to be completed. You will not be sitting there as a project manager and expecting magic that it should be done within 5 days. So when you clarify all the ambiguity means the complexity in those tasks. So you break them down, okay, so that you will know the unnecessary job that you don't need to attend to and the necessary one. So you should make sure that your project scope statement does not have incomplete definition. Okay, so incomplete definition means that it's not detailed. Okay, it's not detailed. You did not state, you know, all your deliverables, or you did not mention your milestones. You are not able to sincerely look at the limitations or the constraints that you may have, you know, carrying out the project. So try to do that, and then you shouldn't have a cost overruns. And also the transient the transition of your scope is also very, very important. That is, you try to not to do, you know, a task, you know, that will not seem like it's a never-ending task. How do you flow? What will be the flow of the job to be done? So what will be the flow? Okay. So what will I do after this? What are we going to do after that? Which task are we going, you know, just like you not knowing how you erecting a building will actually flow. So when you are done with the design, you now begin to think, oh, what's the next thing, what's the next thing? That will actually waste your time. So all these things must have been done even before you say, okay, you start executing. You should know that, oh, after the design, okay, the next thing we are doing is maybe the foundation. You should know some tasks that can run, you know, side by side. It is not compulsory that there are some tasks that it is not compulsory for you to complete them before another one can start. So you group all the tasks that you know that as this one is going on, the other one can actually go on. I've given us an example like this during the project integration management. When you talk about building, interior work in the building, so the electrician wants to work and the plumbers want to work. In most cases, when you look at it, they engage the electrician and the plumber at the same time to be doing their job. Why? Because it saves time and it saves resources. Most times, the part of the wall that will be broken by the electrician where their conduit wiring will go through, the pipe of the plumber can also go through that particular place. So what happens? Both the plumber and the electrician come together. Okay, will your pipe pass through this place? Or your own wire will also pass through this place. So let's break this wall. Let both of us lay what we will lay, and then they will use what? Cement, you know, at the same time to cover up that place. Because imagine you employing the activities of the electrician first, So that one comes over, breaks all the necessary wire that it needs to break, and then lay all the wiring. And then you call the plumber to come and do his job, where you have actually cemented the same place that the electrician has broken. The plumber discovered that, oh, my own pipe will also pass through this place. What will he do? He will, he will reopen the wall in that particular place. What have you wasted? You have wasted cement. Because you will also use cement to actually put it back. That would have been okay if that is all that you will suffer. What about damages to what the electrician has properly done before? It might actually damage some of the wiring that the electrician has done. And if it's the electrician that is doing the job, as the second person, might actually damage, in most cases, the one I've seen is that it will damage the pipe, that has been laid by the plumber. And by the time you power up the water system in the house, you see that there's leakage in a particular place. And you have cemented every place. You start troubleshooting, causing problems. So there are some tasks like that you can carry, along. You need to actually put those tasks and see that, okay, fine, this is good for us to actually do. I want to read newspaper. I want to use the restroom. Can I actually use the restroom? And at the same time, I'll be going over the newspaper. Of course, that is possible. But another person can say, let me first use the restroom. I will come out and read the newspaper. But you can imagine somebody being in the restroom. We call it restroom. If it's neat enough, you can carry your newspaper and at the same time be going over the newspaper. So a lot of people enjoy going through updates in the toilets. They carry their phone to toilet. They just check updates if they have any business, messages to respond to. Is a free time that you respond. So you are saving time. You are actually you've done the transition of your task to know how it will flow. It affects even the daily activities. If you don't know, if you say you have 10 tasks on a particular day and you don't know what to do after this, I have to call Mr. So this is why some people get a PA, personal assistant. What is the work of your personal assistant? To just know what you need to do by 2 p.m., by 3 p.m. Do you have this meeting? Do you have that? Where you will be, where you will that? So you just be carrying along because you know that you are too busy to think about it. And then somebody is hired to be telling you how the flow of your task on that particular day will do. So it's just doing the PA just doing the work of a project manager. It's managing your task, your daily activities for you. So it's very important. So another thing that can also cause problem in your project scope statement or managing your scope is uncollaborative scope. Uncollaborative scope is, the teams that want to work. Your project team, you must make sure that they all understand the project. And as a project manager also, the requirement of the stakeholders, you must find a way to marry them together. They must actually work hands in hands. When you have misinterpretations in the requirements or in the design, this can actually cause a lot of problems. So there should be clarity among the project team. They should understand, so that every one of them can actually also come together and see that, okay, this is the amount of job we need to do in getting this thing. There should be collaboration. Planning the scope or the scope statement is not really something that a project manager should take to himself alone. You should carry your project team, you should carry them along. Okay? Because you should know the area where you will need highly skillful people. That's what we call expert judgment to actually do. The requirement of the stakeholders also should not be counterproductive. Somebody is saying that include a private jet. Another one is saying that, make sure that this project, no private jet is actually purchased. So you see that counterproductive. So you should be able to collaborate, managing your stakeholders based on the project scope and managing your project team based on the project scope statement is very, very important. That's what I'm saying. So you should collaborate. There should be collaboration. If it's department in the particular organization that is doing this, there should be collaboration. There should be understanding. Okay? The requirements should come with understanding. They should not be counterproductive. And all the things that are coming together as a project should actually have an understanding of the, let them also bring in, they can air their view So what we need to do, even though you as a project manager, you have the knowledge, the good details about the project, so you should be able to actually collaborate, you know, especially with expert judgment, people that you know that the areas where you need, you know, professionals on this preparing the project scope. So where you need the professionals, you should actually involve them and collaborate. So it's very, very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with me on project scope since yesterday and up to this moment. And then I'm welcoming you to project time management. Please, can you please give yourself a round of applause with emoji, please. Don't do that with so maybe thumbs up or anything. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Thank you. Thank you for that round of applause. Yes. Thank you so much for being with us. So we are in another, you know, interesting, you know, sensitive knowledge area of project management. It is highly sensitive. In fact, time management, no, I'm removing project now, is a problem that a lot of people face. You know, it's sometimes the skill that is required standing in between what you want to achieve and where you are right now. The stage where you are and the stage you want to be. Sometimes managing your time well is actually the one standing in the middle. That if you can actually, you know, get hold of your time management, you would in no time effectively and productively find yourself where you really project to be. So what I mean is that between where we are right now and the kind of success we project for our project at hand, the kind of success that the value we really want to earn for the project at hand, what's most times standing between those things is how we manage the project time, how we are able to get hold of the project time as a project manager. Many project managers may not fail in delivering the scope of the project. If you know, if you are a fashion designer, I say, I want you to sew a suit for me or a shirt and trouser, you may actually be good at your job, that the shirt and trouser will be fine. But aside you getting the design correctly, you must meet up with the time that I said that you should deliver that particular shirt and trouser. So you, even if you did not fail in delivering the scope of what I've given you, of course, I said shirt and trouser. I'm not expecting, you know, jacket from you. I said shirt and trouser. So even though you are good to deliver that scope, that is the scope of what I asked you to do, shirt and trouser. So that's my project scope. My project scope is a shirt and a pair of trousers. And even if you meet up with that scope, you should be able to meet up with the time. That is when the project is a success. And you should be able to meet up with the cost estimate that we have agreed on. I'm not expecting you to come and ask me more money. That is cost management. I'm not expecting you to go and sew jacket for me when I say a shirt and a pair of trousers. That is scope management. And I'm not expecting you to deliver this project to me on the 25th when our agreement is on the 15th. That is project time management. So you see the three now. Yesterday I drew it for us. I said it is called project triangle, or we call it project constraints. Okay, some people call it iron triangle. We have these terms for it in project management. So, but in project management we call it baselines. The baselines, as I drew it yesterday. So you have your cost, you have your scope, anywhere you put them, and you have your what time, which we call schedule. And we say that what these three will affect the quality of your projects. So if you are fast, you know you have a pass as a project manager in controlling the cost of the project. That you do not go beyond the budget. Good for you. A round of applause. Okay, if you are fast in such a way that the scope of your project, you are able to deliver it. Good for you. A round of applause. But if you fail to deliver it on time, then you have failed woefully. That's what we are talking about. And that is why it's good for you to pay attention to project time management. It is a very sensitive one. It is a very sensitive one. And you will see why it is actually was sensitive, because a whole lot of people will find this interesting, and they will find it, much more engaging. So let's look at this in the awesome view of it. We have 6 processes. 6 processes, dealing with project time management. Okay, we have 6 processes. And before we talk about the 6 processes, there is, a process that arguably many project managers or many project management experts, they do not really like to include it as part of the process. But for me, I feel that this process should be there. So if we really want to talk about the processes involved in project time management, I would say there are 7. But professionally, we can actually say there are 6. Now, what is that one that is not included there? That's the one that you are seeing here. That's plan, schedule, management. Don't forget, the first process in our scope management was plan scope management. That is why, some people also feel that plan scope management, part of those people, I'm one of those people that feel that as we have plan scope management, there should also be plan schedule management. Don't worry, anytime you see the word schedule, just see that what we are referring to time. Okay, so you can call it plan time management or plan schedule management. Okay, so why is this process very important before we go into the rest of the 6 processes that we actually recognize as the 6 processes? Is because you need to, before you begin, to go through the processes of managing the project time, you need to first emphasize how you are going to get it controlled. What do I mean by this? Plan schedule management allows you to think about, will I be in need of, some tools? Okay, let me make some, let me display something to us in this case. Okay, let me display something to us. So you really have a visual view of what I'm actually bringing out now. So when you want to manage your time, you need to first emphasize how you are going to put it under control. Will I be in need of some sort of tools? Okay, do you want to use some tools to actually organize yourself? Okay, so I'm going to be switching between these and my other material here. So will I be in need of some sort of tools? Okay, are there some softwares I can use? Okay, so this is where you get to answer all these questions under the plan schedule management. First question is that what software or tool will you use? In this modern day project management, trust me, there are so many, and we have talked about this even in our previous training, and we actually said that we have software training, and of course that is actually rolling, and coming up, that a lot of people will also benefit from. So you should think about which software are you going to use. Okay, if I'm going to use any software, who among my project team members will be responsible with actually controlling what the software? Who will actually be using it? Who are those people that will be responsible for it? How often will the schedule be reviewed? Now that we want to actually start this project, how often do I want to be checking if we are actually working with time? You can't have a project that will take 1 year and then you say, oh, it is after 6 months, you will now assess the work that you have done, whether you are actually in line or not. You will fail. So you need to actually, under this process, you get to think about, oh, if it's actually 12-month project, I think every two months, or every month, I will need my project team to always give me a report of what they have achieved. so that you will calculate, you will compare your end value with your plan value and see if your end value is actually worth it based on what you have actually planned to achieve. I'm still going to
I'm so sorry, everyone. Apologize for that brief interruption. It was actually a technical issue. Can we all hear me, please? Please, if you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I apologize for that interruption. So let me share my screen so we can continue the class.
That will actually make you to know that these people will deliver what you have actually given to them to deliver. Some project manager use some sort of motivation to do this. Oh, anything that deliver with time, oh, there is a bonus for their team. Of course, you see everybody working seriously so that they can actually earn that particular bonus that you want to give them. I recall when I was still working in Dangote, sometimes you will just come to office the following day and I will just open my drawer and I will meet some money. So I'll ask my boss then, oh, what's this money meant for? He said, oh, yesterday we meet target. So there's always target for everyday production. How many tons of cement do we want to produce today? So in Dangote company then, in Obajana, there is always that particular focus. They will set the focus for the day. This is the tons of cement we want to actually produce today. So everybody that are running the plant on that particular day, all of us will be working to achieve that tons of cement. And when we achieve the target of the day, there is what we call target bonus. They don't even delay on it. They pay it almost instantly. That's why I'm telling you that I will leave work like yesterday, and while coming the following day, you just find it, they will put my own in my drawer. And these are substantial money. So imagine how we want everything on that particular day. How won't all of us, even you see people collaborating. If you really want to mess up in your own duty, I can even come and say, oh, do you need help? Let me help you and everything. So you see everybody collaborating, putting hands together because you already put some check in place. Sparing them is not enough. Saying that you can put some discipline measure in place, but motivation is also part of it. There are sometimes as a project manager, you can just say, oh, you guys did wonderfully today, your lunch on me, and then everybody eats, and then these are part of the miscellaneous that must have been in your budget. So you must have those things, in your budget that, okay, fine, this is what I will use this for, this is what I will use this for. And then you motivate your team, you get them doing the job so that they can actually deliver on time. That is not only the thing that you can put there. There can be some disciplinary measure, there can be this and everything. But in project, management institutes, so there is an encouragement for a project manager to be people's man. Let me use that word. You have to be people's man. And that's why many people fail, PMI exam. It's not, there must not be some sort of wickedness in your approach in controlling your projects. PMI would not support that, because a particular project team member did not show up on a particular day. And then you see in the option of the question, sack him, call him to know why, replace him with another person, and then they ask you to choose that option. I know some street people will say, fire him. Why won't he report? Why won't he tell me that he's not going to be on duty? Many people will do that, but that is a no-no. You don't do that. Replace him. Yes, project management institute will also say, PMI will say, that's not the best option. But call him to know why, to really know why he has done that or why he has squandered. That is a very good option. Because when you get to know why, it might be something that you can actually handle for him, and then you get back on the job. Because by the time you replace him, don't forget that the replacement you are bringing is additional cost. It will cost overrun. You think that by replacing him, we get the job done. But have you thought about the cost? Have you thought about what it will take you to train that new person you want to introduce into the team? The new person you are bringing in, what it will take you to train the person or to retrain the person so that you can do the job of this person that has already disappointed you? Have you thought about the cordial relationship between the team, this new person that you are introducing, before you can actually get along with the team? So these are the things that you will think that will make you to know that it makes sense for you to call the person, to see if you can just talk to the person that, oh, you have problem with your wife? Okay, I'm so sorry to hear that, but please, you know that you need money to run your family. Can you just put your mind together? That's meant for you. You use your own life history, you use people's history to tell him, and then the project member actually brighten up, and you have won him back onto duty. He's going to be loyal and do everything to just please you. So that would be the best option. So you must actually get some control, you know, being put in place so that your project team can actually, work with the time schedule that you have given unto them. So the processes involved in project time management now, we said we have 6, and these are the 6. So the first one I mentioned is what you can call the 7th one, or a pre-process. You know, some people believe that is 7 processes, and that's the first one. But, you know, professionally we say there are 6, but that first one is very important. You know, you can see everything I stated here. So how will you say, you know, plan, schedule management is not important? That is where you get to decide if there's going to be any software you will use, who will be in charge of it, how often will I be checking what the schedule to know if we're actually meeting up with time, and how will I put control in place to ensure that everybody works with the time I allocated to them. So it's very important. So the first one is for you to define, okay? The first process here is for you to define activities. And we talked about this yesterday. Defining your activities is knowing what you will do, knowing what to be done. So you see that your scope management is actually like an input into your time management. Another, I always tell you that listing the knowledge areas, the way the PMI actually listed them, is not a mistake. In fact, it is very important when you are writing PMI exam, you must memorize this. We have so many funny ways of how you can memorize this. You must be able to list them accordingly as they appear, because it's not a mistake. Before you actually lay hand on any project, you must be able to integrate all the pieces of your project, bring all of them together. So I'm just showing you the logical flow of this now. And when you bring all the pieces together, then you begin to think, how large is my project? That is telling us about project scope management. And now when you now know how large your project is, so you have to decide, oh, so how long will it take me? Now that I know how big this project is, oh, this project is so big, how many months will it take me? How many years will it take me? That's project time management. And now that I know the time it will take me, the next thing for me is to decide, what about the resources? That's the money. What will it cost me to achieve this enormous project? That's the project cost management. Now that you have known the cost, with that particular amount of money that I've allocated for this project now, what kind of quality am I actually expecting? That is the quality management. And now that I know the quality, I know everything that I need, who are the kind of people that I need to work with me on this project? Do I need people that have IT knowledge? Do I need people that have mechanical knowledge? Do I need people that have electrical knowledge? What kind of people do I have to hire? What kind of, human skills do I have to engage? What kind of machines will I need to buy? What kind of tools do I need on this project? That is telling you about what? The human resource management. And then now that I've gotten these people together as staff to work with me on this project, how do I communicate with them in the course of this project? How will I be flowing with them? Will there be exchange of emails? Do I need to get them a walkie-talkie? Do I need to get them a special phone? Do I need to get them a CUG SIM so that we can be communicating? Is there any software I can use? Then you begin to solve that project communication management. And then now that I know that, okay, I've taken care of everything, what are the risks involved in this project? What can go wrong? What are the constraints? What are the things that could happen that could affect us negatively? Then that is what? The risk management. Okay, fine. Now, how do we get all the materials needed? How do we buy them? That is project procurement management. Now, everybody involved in this project, all the stakeholders, how do I get them along? How do I carry them along? How do I satisfy them? How do I keep them, in line, updated with this project? That is project stakeholders management. So I'm just showing you that it is not a mistake that project time management follows the project scope management. So under the project scope management, we'll talk about WBS, that's your work breakdown structure. So you can see where your work breakdown structure now comes to place. Now, the first process that you have under project time management is for you to define the activities. And how do you define the activities, or how is your activities defined without the work breakdown structure? So it is still the work breakdown structure we are referring to here. You have to know the duties, the tasks to be carried out. Because unless you have the WBS, your task in an atomic view, like I explained to us, you have to put your task, in the size of atoms. Unless you put them like that, there will be ambiguity in them. You won't be able to accurately attach time frame to them. So it is very, very important. So after that, you look at the sequencing these particular tasks. There's no way you can list down every task, and you are just going to be, playing, just like gambling between the tasks from one task to another and everything. A lot of people do this, and it also affects their personal lifestyle. So when you don't know what to do after a particular thing, then you are going to, you are going to spend a lot of time, thinking unnecessarily when you're supposed to have moved to another duty. So after you have listed all your tasks, which is defining the activities, WBS has shown you everything you need to do. And we actually group these tasks how they are interrelated. Okay, we have a lot of tools that do that. We have what we call Gantt charts, which we are still going to discuss in the course of this particular training. So Gantt chart will show you the flow of work. After this, what am I doing next? Okay, what can I be doing as this one is going on? Okay. As a young man, I want to get married. I want to do my master's. Can I be running my master's while I'm married? Or do I need to wait until I finish my master before I get married? So this is what sequencing will actually tell you about. Oh, I want to use the toilet, and I want to read newspaper, and I want to eat. Do I use the toilet, first? When I'm done, then I can come and eat my food. Or do I want to choose to eat my food first? When I'm done eating my food, I'll go and use the restroom. Which one do I want to choose first? You must have decided all this. Okay, I want to cook, and at the same time, I want to go and make my hair. These are the tasks you have listed for the day. Then you begin to think, do I need, which one is easier for me? Is it making my hair first? And then from there, I will enter market, buy everything I will need to cook, and then come home to cook. Or I need to first go to market, buy everything, come home, cook, and then I go and make my hair. So this, you must get the sequence. Okay? You must get the sequence, the flow chart of your activities. We are going to discuss that a lot because in this place, we are going to be talking about network diagram. Okay? I'm going to be talking about network diagram. So I'm coming to all those things. They are part of the complex things that we are going to actually chop down in the course of this training. If you are with me, you are live with me, and then you are with the flow of the training. Let me see you putting your thumbs up. Just thumbs up for me. Okay, that's great. That's lovely. That's lovely. That's lovely. I have a lot of people online. Okay. Our people on the YouTube, Mr. Moderator. Do we have our people on the YouTube following up on the training? I hope there's no technical issue from their ends.
No, none. They are right behind us. They are following.
Okay.
You can proceed, sir. And go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. So the third process is now estimating the resources. You know that you have put the sequencing. You have put the sequence on how the flow of the project will be from this to this, and then to this. You have actually shown it. You have shown that, oh, when I'm doing this, your network that say this is 3 activities 3, and then you say this is 4. So now that you have known the flow of this, so you have seen all your tasks in smaller, atomic size like this. Then you have to estimate the resources. The resources is allocating materials to those tasks and allocating human resource to do those tasks. How many people will have to work on that particular task? If this is a particular task, we want to see, is it only 2 people that will be on this task? Okay, if it's going to be 2 people, what are the machines they will need? Do they need plier? Do they need screwdriver? Do they need anything? You will do everything here. So you estimate the resources for them. 2 people, plier, screwdriver, cutter. You begin to analyze that. You know why this is coming under? You may be wondering, why is this coming under project time management? Because without you accurately doing this, it will waste your time. If you make a mistake in allocating a job that 5 people needs to do, you allocate it to 2 people. Of course, you should expect them that they will take more time to actually complete the job. You remember these funny questions? Okay, let's do some brain work. It might actually be funny anyway. So you remember those questions back then? If it takes 5 men to cultivate a piece of land, okay, for, let's just say a piece of land for 2 days, how many days? You'll be familiar with this kind of questions. They're funny in math and all that. So that is what this question is actually trying to. So it's showing you that you can't eat your cake and have it. The job of 5 men, if you give it to 2 men, of the same capability. Let me stress on that. Of the same capability. If the 2 men have the same capability, the men are of the same size. Not that these ones, they are much more skilled, because it's possible that you have under skill, 5 men, and then 2 skillful men might be able to handle what they will do. But this one, what we are looking at is that, how many days will it take? Will it take 2 men of the same ability to cultivate the same piece of land? So let's have fun. Okay. So if it takes 5 men, 2 days to cultivate a piece of land, how many days will it take, 2 men to cultivate the same piece of land? We want to give it a try. So let's just have fun. I want to see some of us that have not really left, we have not forgotten totally, what we did back then. So it's something that you're not practicalizing now as a project manager. So we want to try. Somebody already gave me answer. 10 days. What? How many days? 10 days. 10 days. Wow. Somebody already said 5 days. Okay. So can you please repeat the question? You said? Can you please repeat the question? So this is the question. I'm actually putting up the question now. And then let me change my ink so that we itemize it for you. 5 men, they cultivate a piece of land for 2 days. How many days will it take 2 men to cultivate the same piece of land?
Abolari, I saw your hands. You have a response. Abolari.
Yes, 5 days.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone?
It's 5 days, sir. 5 days.
Okay, it's 5 days. Okay, so 5 men. Okay,
Yeah, 5 days.
And 2 men. Okay, question mark. Okay, so they will actually what take 5 days to actually cultivate the same piece of land. So you need to first know that if it's just a person, okay, if it's a person among them, you need to know how long it will take one person among them to actually do it. So if 5 men would actually take 2 days, okay, if one person wants to do their work, you should know that what it will take that person 10 days. If 2 people want to do the work, it will take them what 5 days. So you need to actually juxtapose something like this as a project manager so that you will know if you have shortage of men, okay, in some you have shortage of men to do the job, and you know that if you have to put enough people there, so definitely it will take them what 5 days. Now I'm actually reducing the number of people, then I will know that it will take them more days. Now sometimes this kind of offer normally comes for project manager because maybe the project sponsor or the project owner wants you to actually go faster on the job. Then you will increase the cost. You say it will cost me more. Why is it costing you more? Because you have to hire more men to do that job. The only way you can speed up the job, okay, if it's not some jobs that maybe it will take this also days for it to dry, all this civil work, I'll say, oh, it will take this also days for this particular thing to cake or to be strong enough or to do. If it's something that, maybe is a fashion work, you have to, prepare some souvenirs for a group of people, and they say, okay, fine, this souvenirs is actually 1,000 copies, and you know that these 1,000 copies, it will take you 2 weeks to get it done, and they say they want it within 1 week. What do? You charge them higher, and they're ready to pay higher. What do? You hire more people, more fashion designer like you to come and do the job. You pay them, you sublet it, so that they also, so when you have more people on the job now, the days that you will spend will reduce. So things like this actually happen in projects. So you take note of that. And then it is now that you can now estimate duration. Duration is now the time it will take you. So I can now begin, aside knowing the number of people to attach to it, I can say 2 days here, I can say 5 days here, I can say 10 days here. So you begin to put it. That's what we do on a network diagram. And then you develop the project schedule. What do you do under the project schedule? Even after you have actually estimated your durations, what do you do here? You begin to input your activities. If you have a software that you want to use, you begin to actually document the activities properly by knowing how long it will take, the duration that you have estimated here, you put them here, knowing the starting date. When are you now starting it? It is one thing for you to say, this thing will take me 5 weeks. Yes, it will take you 5 weeks. When are you starting? So that we will know that when you start, we will just calculate 5 weeks after that to know when you're going to end. So every task that you have listed now, you must have their start date and their end dates that you are going to put there. Because this is what will be checkmating what you are doing. For example, if a task is supposed to begin on the 20th and it will take 5 days, that meaning that it will be on the 25th that you must have been done with the job. So if you fail to start on the 28th, you're already running behind schedule. So you will know that you won't, if you start on the 21st, instead of we propose on the 28th that you're supposed to start, then instead of you to end it on the 25th that you're supposed to end it, it will take you through 26th. So you can use this one to measure when you're actually running behind schedule or when you are doing fine. And this is what software will actually do for you. The software, clearly you can see that, oh, I'm supposed to have started this. There are many of them that comes with alarm. Many of us use them. There's this Google, the Google schedule also. I have it, I use it. So like this training, it will have been given me that, oh, I have a training tomorrow, I have a training this, I will just input all of them, just like a calendar. And then it will pop up, for me, like this time now that, oh, our training will start by 7, the Google will have given me updates that, oh, by this also time, it's time for me to actually be on training, and then I get myself ready for the training. So you can use all these to actually plan yourself as a project manager. And then we come to control the schedule. It is very important. Now, some people argue that you cannot control time. I agree. But what we are talking about here is you controlling the proposed time that you have scheduled to use. So you have already estimated that something will take you 5 weeks. We want to see you working within that 5 weeks. That's what we are talking about, control the schedule. Put your schedule under controlling. And how do you do that? You can only do that by a very good system of you monitoring and controlling, the time that you are actually using. So you can control it. There is a whole lot of things that you can actually use. The first thing that you can use that I want to introduce to us is you actually making use of your Kanban board. You can make use of a Kanban board for you to actually control your schedule. So I will show us what Kanban board actually looks like. A lot of us must have seen it, especially if you are practicing as a project manager or if you are a supervisor in your place of work. So you can use Kanban board for you to actually, monitor what you are doing so that all the team can see the flow of work. So let me show us how Kanban board. I have a whole lot of them here. But in its simplicity, let me show us in Kanban board in its simplicity. Yes, this one speak like it. I'm using this particular board. So this is how Kanban board looks like. If you enter the place where you normally do your stand-up meeting and all that, you will see this kind of board, and they use this sticky paper. So we have what we call backlog. Let me first use this. So backlog is the list of the task, all the tasks that you want to perform. You must have written them with little description. Digging of so meter well, about 24 feet, so, you put it here. In fact, on that particular backlog, you may actually indicate, the names of the person that is supervising that among your team, and then you put it on the backlog. And then it is from this backlog, you'll be moving them one by one. What is here has been taken from this backlog to this place. And what does that mean? It means that these are the work that are in progress right now. Professionally, I always advise that depending on your backlog and depending on the number of things that you are attaching the work to, the work in progress shouldn't be choky. So if you pick like four duties, yes, or 3, these are the things that, so if I receive this board, even though I don't know anything about this particular project, I can really read this board and see that, oh, these tasks here are the things that they are working on right now. Okay. Now, after they have worked on it, so they bring it here for review. Review means that the project manager might actually come around and check. Or it might be the time that you will invite the customer to actually see what you guys have done. So if there's any change request you want to make, it means that there is a change request and they are reviewing these particular ones under this. If there is no what review, none of them to be reviewed, or if they pass the review, you move them to what? Testing. Testing might be for you to actually test it again and now see if the corrections you have made or everything you have built are actually what? Working according to the requirements. And then when it is done, you move it to what? To done. But the typical one is the one I show you below. That's to do. To do show everything you need to do. You state them here. Those are the backlog. Doing. Doing means the work in progress, what they are doing particularly now. And when you are done, you move them under done. So you can see, looking at this 3-column board, easily can tell you that these are the things. As a project team, even if somebody is, don't let me use the word dumb, or even somebody cannot really, it does not really have details about this project before. When you put Kabak board in place, it can show you that this is a whole lot of work you have this week. This is what you are doing currently now. This is what you have achieved. So by looking at this place, this done colon, and looking at this to do colon, you can see that what you are actually not working with time. And let's say this board that you drafted here, everything that is here, you have estimated them to take you just 1 week. So this can help you to actually monitor the progress of the job. It can make you to monitor if you're actually managing the time well or not. So you can begin to monitor. I have a whole lot of them here. So you can see it can take different forms. Okay, look at this. This shows this is also to do, doing, done. Look at this one. To do, develop, doing. They have finished developing it. After they have developed it, they first bring it to test. So after they have tested it, they bring it here to show that what? Tested, okay, tested, done, and then they deploy it. In most cases, when you look at this kind of Kabak board, it's looking like an IT work. Okay, maybe there's a website that they're actually working on. They'll first test it to see what the programming are working fine. If they have debugged every fault or all that, they put it on that done, and then they deploy that particular aspect for use. It's already available. So these are various types of Kanban boards. I just brought them up to show you. So you can use Kanban board. There are many softwares that also have it embedded in them, so that you can actually use that. You can use that to control your schedule, to follow up on your schedule, to follow up on what you actually doing. So another thing that you can do is what we call end value management. End value management or end value analysis. Okay, so let's do some little, some little calculations, but they are not difficult because they are very necessary, especially when you are writing your, assessment and all that. So it's very important. So there are some terminologies that I will first have to define with us, so that you have a good understanding of what we are about to do. So I will explain some terminologies for you. They are not difficult to understand. They just give me the same way you have been giving me your undivided attention. Now, in your projects that you want to do, in end value analysis, let me first explain that it is always expressed in dollar. What we are about to do, in terms of standard in project management, it is actually always being valued in dollar. That the dollar value, is what we use to calculate what end value management. Now, these are the terminologies we need to actually define. There's what we call planned value. Okay, there's what we call planned value. What is planned value? Planned value is let me bring the terminologies here, and then we'll come back to the calculations. Okay. Okay, let me use whiteboard. I want to use whiteboard first. Now, what is PV? When you see PV, PV means planned value. when you see EV means end value. I'm going to explain all this. They are not grammar. Don't mind the grammar. They are just things that are very easy for you. AC means actual cost. Actual cost. Okay. I can even bring them up. So let me see if I can bring them up for you so that I can easily write on them. Pardon me. Let me bring some of them up for you. So they are just calculations, but please don't really look at them as something too big for you to understand. They are not something big for us to understand. They are just simple terms. Okay. So I've written PV, okay, EV, AC, PV, planned value, and value, and actual cost. Now, what is the meaning of planned value? When you are working on your project, okay, let's say a project will take 2 weeks. We now say that within 1 week, this is what we must have achieved. What we use end value analysis to do is for us to know if we are working in line with the cost of the project and if we are working with the time frame of the project. These are the two things that the end value analysis will help you to achieve. It's helping you to check, oh, are we really working with budgets? Have we spent more than what we have planned to spend? So if a project will be 2 weeks and that project is $30,000, within 1 week, what is the worth of work that we want to achieve? What is the worth? What is the work? How much of this work must we have achieved within 1 week? That's what we call planned value. Okay. So what is the worth of this project that we want to achieve within this period of time? And in the rate of dollar. So we now put it in the rate of dollar. What is the worth? The worth of the job, of the task that we must have completed in this also particular time. That is what we call planned value. That's the value you plan to have achieved within a particular period of time. I am sure that you are following me. Please do not give me a divided attention. Let it be an undivided attention. It's very important that you understand this aspect. The plan, from the word plan, what you plan to achieve, but it is rated in the value of dollar. That what the value of our project that we plan to achieve within a period of time. Now, when that particular period of time, that 1 week is now over, we will now calculate, yes, this is what we plan to achieve, but what exactly have we achieved? That is the end value, earning, from the word earning, what you have earned. Yes, it is true, we make plans that the worth of this work within 1 week must have been $30,000. But now, after that week is over, we now calculate our end value. What is the value that we have now really achieved? That is the end value. We want to see if it is up to the $30,000 that we plan to achieve, or if it is less than that $30,000. That will tell us if there's a terrible thing happening to the cost. That will tell us if there's a terrible thing happening to the cost of our projects, or to the timing of our projects. So when you compare your end value with your planned value, you will know either you are working behind schedule, or you are working on time, or you are even ahead of the schedule. So the comparison between planned value and the end value will show you the way you are working with your time. So please note that. Now, we come to the actual cost. If we have actually budgeted that what we want to spend $15,000 within 1 week, after that 1 week, we will now look at it based on the value of the job that we want to actually complete, which is the planned value. The planned value of the job that we have actually what planned that what we are going to what achieve. Based on that, we will now compare the actual amount of money we have spent, which is the actual cost. The actual cost of that job that we have proposed in our mind. Okay, this job, okay, will this value that we want to earn, it will cost us $15,000. After the job is now done, we now want to compare it with our end value. So when you compare your actual cost and your end value, it will tell you if you are running with what budget or not. So this will tell us about our budget, which is what the cost. So I'm going to show you a very clear example. Then you will see what I'm actually talking about. So I'm going to show you a very clear example. I just have to define all that so that it won't give you any issue at all. So first look at this. So let's look at what we call cost variance, meaning variation in our cost. How vary is our cost? That's what we want to first look at. So the cost variance, how vary is the cost of what we have actually done. So let me bring the first one. Okay. So let's look at this. So your cost variance is the difference between the X of the amount of money that we have spent. You can imagine you have a worth of $15,000 and you have actually used just an actual cost of $8,000 to achieve a worth of $15,000. What have you done? You as a project manager, you are already a success when it comes to that budget. It means that you have spent less than what you're supposed to have spent. Imagine that you propose to do a job of a task of $8,000, but you are able to use $8,000 to achieve a worth of job of $15,000. You are
Sorry to cut in, sir. Sorry to cut in, sir. Can you repeat that, please? I think your network went off at some point. So can you repeat the cost variance again? Okay. Thank you very much.
So, okay, sir. So I'm saying that your end value is the worth of the job that you have actually done. The actual cost is the amount you have spent to achieve that worth of the job. Don't forget I told you that they are all rated in dollars. So now I'm not giving us an example. Let's say we have an actual cost of $8,000. That is, I've actually spent $8,000. But the end value, the value of the achievements I've gained on that project is rated about $15,000. $15,000. So what will you say as a project manager in this case? You have used $8,000 to achieve a worth of $15,000. It means that you have saved cost. You are working, even below the budget, which is good for the project. But imagine that I swap it. If I swap this, that the end value, the value you have earned on the project is just $8,000. And the actual cost, what it has cost you to earn that value of $8,000 is about $15,000. What has happened to you? That's a terrible thing that can happen to your project. So it means that you use $15,000, you spent it, and the value of the job that you have gotten done, the worth of the job you have done is $8,000. That's a terrible thing that can happen to your project. That is why value analysis is very important for every project manager to understand. And you can get it once and for all with me, because it comes with a lot of complexity. And that's why I'm breaking it down like this. So let's look at this now. How do you know? What do you do? Cost variance, we say is equals to EV minus AC. You already know what EV is. End value minus the actual cost. So pay attention to this. If what you get here, the answer you get here is positive, it means that what you are underrunning the cost of your project. That is what you are spending less than the budget. But if the answer when you do EV minus what 80 is giving you negative, it means that what you are actually spending more than that overrun, cost overrun. You are spending more. Let me give us an example. Like this one now, where you have EV equals to $8,000, and then you have what AC equals to $15,000. Okay, your cost variance, to know how vary your cost is. And another example, this is example 1. Let's say this is example 2. EV is $15,000, and what AC equals to $8,000. Okay, so here we know that what our calculation is EV minus AC. Our calculation of cost variance equals to EV minus AC. So this place, it will be 8,000 minus 15,000. Okay, so this will give me minus $7,000. This answer here will give me, okay, 15,000, because that's EV, minus 8,000, and that will give me positive answer, which is what? $7,000. What is the interpretation of these two? Number one, where we get negative $7,000 is showing us that we have spent more than budgeted. We have spent about $7,000. We have wasted about $7,000 on the task at hand that we have completed. So when you do this often as a project manager, you see that, oh my goodness, I'm already, running, at loss with my cost, with about $7,000. Now, what is the second example showing us? It's showing us that what we have been able to save an amount of what $7,000 in our budget. It means that what we spent less, $7,000 less in our budget for this particular task that we have done. You can imagine, I said digging of borehole, and I said that what this borehole, how do you know the end value, or how do you know the planned value? This borehole will take us 1 week, and within this 1 week, we will actually spend $15,000. So the planned value, okay, that we have actually looked at is that we now calculate it in the dollar rate and say, okay, the value of what we must have achieved is this amount within this week. But after that week, we now calculate how much have we really spent. We compare it with what? With the value of the job that we have gotten done. Our plan is that what $8,000 should finish the borehole. But we now see that what the borehole has not been finished, and yet we have spent about $10,000. So it means that what the end value of that week is below the actual cost. And then by this doing your cost variance, you'll be able to see how much are you spending more than the budget, or how much are you spending less than the budget. Okay, so when you look at some of my examples here, let me give us some of the examples so that we can actually read it together. So you will see, okay, let me display it properly so that everybody can see. So let's take an example. I've broken it down just for you to look at the example. So using the ACME home building project information, this, that, let's calculate the cost variance for this project. So look at this particular project now. So your PV, which is the planned value, for the foundation, partial, exterior walls, stairway, and then all your planned value, the total of them is $38,269. The end value of the value of the work of the job that you have achieved is the total of them is 33,000. I hope we can see that $33,149 dollars, and the actual cost that the job has worked that you have spent is $32,400 dollars. So how do you calculate your cost variance? That will be EV minus AC. So when we subtracted this, it gave us positive $749. What does that tell you? How do you interpret this as a project manager? Let me show us the graph that will help you. Look at it. The vertical axis is cost. The horizontal axis is time. And then when we plot down our actual cost, because the actual cost here is $32,400, which is lower than the end value. So when you look at it, you will see that we have actually spent less than the budget. Actual cost is less than the end value. So because the actual cost is less than the end value, it means that we have spent lesser than budgeted for this project, which is good for your project. That's a positive thing for you to have achieved. So that is the interpretation of that. Look at another example on the schedule variance. The schedule variance is also calculated. The schedule is for us to now check the time frame that we have given to this job to be done. Are we working with time? The cost variance is showing us, are we working with the budget? But the schedule variance is showing us, are we actually working with time? So the work of the job we're supposed to have completed within 1 week, we have already calculated it, which is the planned value. That's the planned value. Now, after we have completed the job, we now say end value. So the actual work we have completed is our end value, while the planned value is the one that we plan to have achieved. So the calculation is also EV minus PV. Let's look at an example. The same example that we actually used for the cost variance that I show us now. If you subtract EV, you do EV minus PV in this kind of example, you see that it will give us negative $5,120. What does this tell you? It means that our planned value is actually higher than the actual work that we have achieved, which is the end value. So this actually shows that the negative shows us that there is problem. We have actually spent more. We are actually behind schedule. We have achieved the job, but we are actually behind the time frame. So instead of 1 week now, perhaps now, if you calculate it, it means that we have actually used maybe 1 week, few days with it. Because our planned value, the value we plan to achieve, we couldn't meet up with it. The actual one we earn, the actual value we earn is lower than the value we plan. So what does that mean? It means that we didn't meet up with our target. What is our target? Our target is the planned value. And what have we achieved? What we have achieved is the end value. Now that our end value is lower than our planned value, it means that we are behind schedule. Anytime our end value is greater than our planned value, that is good for us. We have earned something bigger than what we have planned. Anytime that our actual cost, the amount of money we have spent, is lower than the value that we have earned, that is actually good for us. It means that we have actually saved some money in the budget. But anytime our end value is lower than the amount that we have spent, imagine the value the amount of money that we have actually spent is about $15,000, but the value that we have earned is about $8,000. That's not good for us. But if the amount of money that we have spent is what, $8,000, and the value we have earned is what, $15,000, that is good for us. So this is how the end value analysis actually looks like, and it's a very big deal in project management. And I just hope that you have those good understanding with the way I've broken them down. So if you are with me, thank you, Mr. Moderator, for making me to go back on that, because it's very important. So if you are with me, yes, thank you. I've repeated that. If you are with me up to this moment, and I see your thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's good. If you understand what I've just said about the end values, can you use the emoji of you clapping? A round of applause. Let me see the emoji of a round of applause. Okay, that's good. That's lovely. That's lovely.
Okay, sir.
Always.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Sorry to cut in. I would, it's like 20 minutes to 9. So I would want us to stop early so that we'll be able to, if there are questions on this aspect, so you might have the opportunity to answer them.
Okay.
We don't know if that is okay with you, sir.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
I've actually achieved my planned value tonight. So if I compare my end value now, the value of what I've earned on this training is actually, doing good with my planned value, the value I've planned to achieve. So that's applicable. That's applicable to the training. Thank you so much. So let me just give briefly about what we have achieved. So we have achieved the processes in project time management. By the special grace of God, tomorrow, as we continue, we will have to look at some strategies, for project managers on how to manage the time properly. And then we'll do our PET analysis. There will be PET analysis tomorrow. You must try as much as possible not to miss it. There will be PET analysis tomorrow. And by God's grace, that same tomorrow, I want to actually go into CPM, critical path management, when we get to know about our network diagram, okay, and then how we can actually get a critical path for the project at hand. So we continue with that tomorrow. Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. Thank you everybody for staying in tune with me tonight. So over to you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been a very interesting class so far. Let me stop sharing. So, yes, so it has been a very, very engaging class so far. Most especially when it comes to the end value, plan value analysis that we just concluded. I've been seeing some people's hands. Okay, so just a minute. So quickly before anything, let's try to take questions. For the bad group, there's one other person who I saw the hand for now from the bad group. Okay, so please, if you have your questions, please kindly drop them. Drop your questions now. So we are going to call on you so you can ask your questions. So questions on the topic of discussion so far. So please, let's quickly do that. And those who are joining us on YouTube, just drop your question in the comment section. I'm going to before they ask. I'm going to take those questions. Okay, so already I think I saw some questions in the comment section. That's from the Appman. There is backlog, actually all the jobs to be done on the list of overdue jobs. It's asking backlog the jobs to be done, what you have in the backlog are jobs or the list of the overdue jobs. So I'll leave that to the trainer to respond to. Okay, so I think there's one other question I saw. Okay, this person is asking, Abola, you're asking that why must we use dollar? Okay, I think the trainer didn't mention that, why they're using the dollar analysis because it is actually accredited to I'll still leave that into our job. Okay, so quickly, if you have your questions, raise up your hand so I'll call on you and ask questions. Questions. Okay, so Mr. James, over to you, sir. Let me give you the opportunity to respond to the questions from the message. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. You can unmute your mic, sir.
Okay, sir. Maybe some other people also have the same issues. So you can ask if people have questions now, because I see that the mic was muted for everybody.
Okay, thank you
Go
very
ahead,
much.
go ahead.
Raise up your hand. You can proceed, sir.
Okay, so I think it's two questions I have here. So let me go to that. Okay, somebody was asking if they are just quick questions anyway. If backlog actually are all jobs to be done or the list of overdue jobs. No, the backlog are not a list of overdue jobs. They are exactly the way I use it in the training. The backlog are list of jobs to be done. Okay, so list of jobs to be done. It's just we can call it the prioritized list of jobs to be done. That's another way you can call it. The prioritized list of jobs to be done. Sometimes we use different kind of terminologies for the backlog. You can hear user stories. User stories are just list of the features that you want to the features or the requirements, yes, that you want to put on the project that you are doing. So maybe you have some new features or new requirements that are part of your backlog. Maybe you have some bug that you want to fix, or there are some faults, some change requests on the project or the defects. They can be in your backlog. Maybe you have some change requests, like I mentioned, or you have some task or just user stories. So, and when you put them in the backlog, they are usually being prioritized, and that's why you see that what they will be on the waiting. You are going to have the ongoing, so you'll be able to prioritize with that. They are not overdue. They are not necessarily the list of jobs overdue. So in fact, in project management, you shouldn't except that something is already going wrong. That's when you are going to be having what overdues. So we don't what we use Kanban for is for us to ensure that what everything is done, according to the schedule, and not until they are now overdue, you are now rushing it up. So it's the list of jobs to be done. So thank you. So somebody also asked that I think the whole question is that why I'm not seeing it. Why did I use dollars also?
Yeah, it says why must we use dollar in the end
Okay,
value
okay, okay, okay. I can see that. Why must we use the dollars? Okay, number one thing I will say about that is that don't forget I will say that this training is actually tailored in line with PMI. So the idea is for you to actually know the worth of the worth of the job that you plan to achieve, and the worth of the job that you are able to earn in the long run. So if you are dealing with a different currency, you can work it out in your currency. What's the worth of this particular? But in some cases, because we are the part of this world here, there are a lot of things that are being influenced by the rate of dollars and everything. In fact, it's not just here. Most currency. Of course, all of us will know the strength of the dollars. I don't want to go into the technicalities of why is dollar like that or anything. So this is not. They don't be so emotional about maybe we are giving strength to dollars or anything. We are just being realistic for you to actually say that okay, this is the worth of the job you want to do, and this is the worth of the job that you actually earn. So if your own project is in naira, of course, you can see that what the worth, the planned is an application. So you can apply it and say that what the planned value that you actually want to that you plan to earn, okay, is 50,000 naira, and the end value in the long run, okay, is in your currency. So you can use it. Doesn't mean that you have to stick, but we are using that as a general yardstick. Of course, this training is not meant for Nigerians alone. So we have to really, and that's why PMI actually, I know that's the more reasons, but most of the founders of the PMI, most of them are, they are Europeans. So they will definitely use their own currency. They will write their own guide with their own currency. But you, if you want to apply it locally, of course, you know what to do with your own currency. So that's that. So just apply it. It's just application that you should do. But it doesn't mean that you have to be rigid with dollars. So as a consultant, with all these technicalities, how would you bill your clients? We have not started the cost management. So project cost management. We are still going to talk about project cost management. Don't forget that all these things I was actually explaining, we are still going somewhere. What we are pegging it to. Forget about the cost variance I just mentioned. I only just mentioned this cost variance because I want to explain it with end value analysis that I was actually doing. But the major focus on it is the schedule variance. That's the SV. That will actually show you, are you behind schedule or are you actually under schedule? Are you working with time? Are you on time? Are you working under the time, or you are working over the time that you have actually scheduled? So the focus is actually on the time. Okay, that's why we are explaining this. So don't worry. When we get to the costs, that's what you'll be talking about, budget and all that. How will you bill your client and all that? We'll talk about it. Let's wait till then. Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. Over to you.
Okay, thank
Over
you
to
very
you.
much, Mr. James. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I think we still have two questions there. Someone is asking what is story point. Okay, what is story point? And another person is asking that have the great advocate. Can I not polarize the PBC? The great advocate. I think that's the something that comes together. This five
You are not audible, sir. Is it written? Are those
Can you hear me,
questions?
sir?
Yes, you are now audible now.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I said we have two other questions in the email. One person is asking that what is story point? Why the other is saying that
Your voice is gone again.
am I audible,
Your
sir?
voice is gone
Am I
again.
audible, sir?
You're audible now.
Okay, so I said there are questions in the two other questions in the. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir?
Your voice is back. It's going on off and on. Don't worry. I think I can read.
Please.
I can read. I
Okay.
can read it in the. Let me. I can read it. I've seen the questions. So let me. But your voice is going on and on. In case you want to make other announcements, so you can just fix that. Okay. Somebody asked, what is story points? I don't. I always like it in a way that people don't get confused with terminologies. When you are doing a Scrum, or if you are using a agile framework, you'll be hearing, something like story points. Story points are not different from backlog. They are not exactly different from user stories, like I've explained. So story points, okay, that you're talking about is still telling you they are just like the analysis of the jobs that you want to do, okay. So it helps your teams to actually estimate the amount of work that is actually what required. So when you have a story, we call it user story. Okay, that's another word you can say. User story or task. So let us break it down so that people will not get confused. So if you see user story, if you see story point, it means task. Task. That's the job, okay, that you actually want to do. It means planned iterations the iteration you want to do. That's the smaller unit of work that you want to perform. You know, we talk about WBS. When you have broken down and you say, okay, this is the smallest, you are not taking the job small by, unit by unit, as small as they are. Okay, that is your story point. Either you say user story, either you say story point, either you say task, either you say planned iterations, they are all the same. But one thing you should know that you will achieve with that is that you are going to have prioritized work. It's going to help you to prioritize the work that you are doing. Okay, so you already know when you have broken down every work that you need to carry out in the project, it will make you to see in smaller units that, okay, let me prioritize this, let me prioritize that. So it will help you. And the one being asked by engineer Uwem, I think I've already addressed that. It is not compulsory that you have to dollarize, okay, based on your project. You should know your projects and be part of your project. If your project is controlled, let's say most of the your procurement is going to be affected by dollar rate and everything. Of course, you know you want to dollarize your budget because you wouldn't want inflation to actually affect you, because most of the things you want to use for your project are not available locally. Or let me say there are some virtual team members that will be working with you, and most of them are not Africans. Maybe you have to pay them in dollars and everything. Take for instance, when I was working in Dangote, there are some of those expatriates that were working here. They have some part of their salary being paid in naira. That is the one that they will have access to locally here, maybe to just make do with and take care of themselves. And there are some, according to what I heard, and to some extent I confirm that some part of their salary is in dollars and is being paid directly to their country. So all these dollar or anything shouldn't actually get you confused as a project manager. Just understand your project. If your project is actually going to be impacted by inflation, or let me say the rate exchange rates, of course you know that you may have to just state, because if you say this thing is in $20, it is very possible that what it maintain that that rate like $20. But if you are stating in naira, for instance, let's say by the time you state it in naira, maybe as at that time $1 is 1,500. So if you state your price, or let me say, or your worth, the worth of your project in naira, and by the time you go next week, you now see that what something that was 1,500 naira rate is now maybe we are not speaking negatively. Don't be emotional about what I'm saying. We are just being realistic. Let's not say it's now 1,600. Are you going to go back to the project owner and say that, oh, the dollar rate has now changed? Okay. So I'm not also justifying PMI for using dollars, but I've told you that most of them, the major management of PMI, they are not Africans. Okay. The major part of them is Europeans. And that might be one of the reasons why, that might be, I'm saying that what when we are doing end value analysis is actually what in dollar rate or anything, you just to calculate what. But as a project manager, I always tell people when I'm training them, you shouldn't be a robot. Okay, the PMI is just giving guides. They are not telling you that what. In fact, you can follow it to the extent that if you don't follow it well, okay, maybe you are trained and you don't follow those guides properly, you are not able to actually what use some of your you are not being sensitive to your own environment and the changes around you whatsoever. Like when I was talking about somebody have to go and work inside and is paying money and all that. That kind of thing might not even be happening in the US. It might just be that you pay government. But yeah, after you settle government, there will still some area boys that will still come and challenge you on the site. How do you account for that in your project budget? So there are some things that you as a project manager know that it may be part of your own environmental factors. We talk about it, EEF. So the environmental factors in US might not be environmental factors in Nigeria. So you must understand the environmental factors. Part of your environmental factors is your political, how the politics we are. It might even be part of your national economy. It might be part of your own environmental factor. So your own environmental factor, you should be alert, to your own environmental factor and put it in your plan. So if you don't want to dollarize it, if your project can survive by you quantifying it or calculating the worth in naira, go ahead. If you're a Ghanaian, if your own can go in cedis, go ahead. Okay, so it depends on the deals or the project that you are dealing with. We are not saying that be rigid and say, oh, you must dollarize it. No, if the worth can be calculated in your local currency, do it. M value is just for us, it's just doing one thing. It has no, the dollar aspect is not the main thing that you should focus on, but the main thing that you should focus on is that what we want to know, if we are doing well with the cost, that is, are we actually experiencing cost overrun or underrun, and the schedule, are we behind schedule or we actually on time? So that's just the major points that M value analysis is helping us to achieve. Okay, but if you are writing PMI, just be sure that what you are going to see your options in dollar. So the options will be in dollar, the examinations we focus on dollar. Thank you. Moderator, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. James, for the beautiful response. Am I audible?
You are audible now. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Voice is gone again, sir. I don't know what is happening to your.
Okay. So I want to appreciate everyone who has joined into this class. Okay, I think I'm audible. I can hear myself now. Okay, so those who are joining us, okay, we don't have any question from there. So time is fast spent. So we are going to be drawing the curtains on today's class. So please, like I did mention at the beginning of the class, someone's microphone is on. Thank you. So like I did mention at the beginning of the class, I want everybody to please prepare their minds for the assessment and project scope management, the one we just concluded. So at the end of time management as well, we are going to be dropping the assessment. So just watch out for that of project scope management on the WhatsApp platform. So, okay. Thank you. So let's watch out for the assessment. And tomorrow again, we are going to continue where we stopped for today. That's under project time management or project schedule management, as you may have it. Abola and Olatunde, I've been calling on you. I've been trying to bring you up.
Sorry, I thought you said the training will be Monday to Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday.
Yes, sir. Yeah, apologies for that. Tomorrow is Saturday, so there won't be classes tomorrow till Monday. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. We won't be having any class tomorrow till Monday. So the training spans through Monday to Friday. So our next class is going to be on Monday, which is in 3 days from today. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. So please, you have ample time to rewatch the videos from the first class. If there's anyone you have missed, you have time to go through them and to attend to all the assessment that we have released. Okay, so once again, I want to appreciate everyone. Please, your feedbacks are very important to us. I want you to please go on our WhatsApp platform, drop your feedbacks. It's an encouragement for us. And concerning the certification for the training, for the knowledge areas that we are taking in this training, information concerning that is going to be dropped on the WhatsApp platform today on Felinde. So you can watch out for those information as well. So I want to say a very big thank you to everyone. Thank you for joining us. So till we meet again in the next class, which is
project scope assessment, sir. Please.
Yeah, I mentioned that. We are going to be dropping it
let it be emphasized. Please, if you have, sorry, sir, please, if you have not done your assessment, please do your assessment. That is how we know that you are really learning. We can't enter into your mind to know what you have acquired. We use your assessment to judge you. Please try as much as possible to do that. And Mr. Moderator, please emphasize on people are not writing their feedback on the WhatsApp. We need your feedback on the WhatsApp. A lot of people have not been doing that. So please, sir, please emphasize. Thank you. Your voice is gone, sir. Your voice is gone, sir. We are not hearing anything.
Okay, am I audible? I don't know what is wrong with our network this day, actually. Okay, so please, your feedback. please. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone. Please and please, I don't know why my network is failing today. So please, I only mention that feedback. Do the needful to help us drop your feedback on our platform, on our WhatsApp page. So on this note, we'll be rounding up the class. So thank you very much, everyone. So till the next time we see again, do have a wonderful and a productive weekend. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.